Hello, welcome back to the channel of nonsense. Sorry if I look like death warmed up. I was up very late last night because my 3-year-old decided we were going to hospital. But we went to hospital in this, the all-new Dacia Duster, whose infotainment screen didn't work for the entire drive to hospital. But it's still one of the most affordable family SUVs you can buy. And does that mean it's in any way rubbish, apart from its infotainment system taking a holiday half the time? Let's find out in what promises to be probably a slightly tired and manic video. Let's go. Well, at least it's still slightly affordable. It costs from £18,745, which when you adjust for inflation is only about £1,000 more than the old Duster cost. But I think it looks $1 million better. As the kids say, it's had a proper glam up with these LED headlights. Halogen main beam though, which is a bit naff when you flash your main beam and it's suddenly bright orange. But yeah, it's just very sharp. There's these kind of reflecty looking bits across the front and these daytime running lights, which I've turned off because I'm a professional. Now, underneath, this new Duster is based on a new platform, or new to the Duster anyway. The old one was made out of lead. This is made of proper metal, underpins things like the Renault Captur, the Nissan Juke, so it should drive better as well. Now, excuse the noise in the background. I've been chatting to my local farmer who owns all of this. He won't be giving his farm away as an inheritance anytime soon, given what the UK government is currently doing, which is nuts. But anyway, there's a train as well joining in, but appreciate the bold new looks of the Duster. I'm not quite so sure about this Starkle stuff. There's been a lot said about this plastic that's partially recycled. It's meant to be very hard wearing, but in reality, it scuffs more easily than my confidence. Thank you, All Boys Grammar School. But yeah, Matt Watson had this one before I did, and he's scratched it with his fingernail, and I've done the same now, so I'm basically from Birmingham. But let's check out what else is all new, starting while driving it. This all-new Duster has an all-new range of engines to go with it. I'm in the new self-charging hybrid, which is quite expensive. It starts at about £24,000. This is a journey trim level, so this one's actually £26,000, which in the context of a Dacia is very expensive. I would save myself £3,000 and get the new 1.2 petrol with 130 horsepower. It's about as efficient as this hybrid. I've been getting 48 mpg. That's pretty much what the petrol version will get you as well. Now, you can get a 4x4 version of that petrol, but that adds £2,200, and there is no more diesel option. There used to be a 1.5 diesel in the old Duster. That has gone and I think been replaced by this hybrid. Now, this hybrid is expensive and it's a bit of a mixed bag really. It uses a 1.6 litre petrol engine. My phone has fallen out so you can see it accelerates well. A 1.6 litre petrol engine, 140 horsepower with the electric motor. And when you're driving around in EV mode, which it can do quite a lot of the time to be fair, it kind of kicks in usually above 30-40 miles an hour, the petrol engine. It is smooth in EV mode. It's smooth and it's quiet and it feels very premium as a driving experience. But then when the petrol engine kicks in, it's a little bit noisy and it kind of feels like it's trying to hold a gear too low. And it's just not the most seamlessly integrated hybrid system that I've ever driven. And then it's not really that economical either, 48 mpg. I really would just get the petrol unless you really desperately want the hybrid in your life. But otherwise, to drive, this new Duster does feel a lot more grown up than the old one. The steering is still vague, but it's not quite as vague. Turn you off with 2 presses. That's the speed limit warning. There's a button for it. It feels more refined. At motorway speeds, it's still not as hushed as its more premium rivals. You get a lot of wind noise at 70 miles an hour from around the door seal here and off the mirrors too. And in this hybrid version, the suspension is a little bit too firm and a little bit too jiggly around town. Apparently in the lighter petrol version, that's not really a problem. But yeah, it just feels more grown up. It feels more stable than the old Duster. And it just feels like a more grown up car all round really, which is a really good thing, so long as you're not spending loads of money on the hybrid version. But yeah, the mirrors are nice and big. The view out the back isn't too bad. You've got some big blind spots at the rear corners, but show me a new car that doesn't have that, and I will show you my tattoo of Lara Croft. Yeah, it's an okay thing to drive. In its class of other family SUVs, It's not as refined, it's not as confidence-inspiring down a bumpy B road. But then its real price rival is the MG ZS, I think. ZS? I get confused with all the letters they put in. And that doesn't feel particularly at ease on a bumpy country road either, so yeah. One niggle I have found driving this new Duster around for the past kind of 250, 300 miles is that if you like to man spread a bit when you're driving like me, you haven't got that much knee room, and it's all hard plastic on the left and right, so you end up with a slightly sore knee as you kind of jab into it, especially around corners when there's a fair bit of body roll. And also you end up creaking this whole centre console with your knee. It does creak a bit, this car. But otherwise, this new Duster feels a lot more grown up to drive than the old one. For this new Duster, Dacia has driven it through a branch of Halfords. That's quite an old reference, really, isn't it? But it is more high-tech if you don't get the entry-level Essential model anyway. In that, you don't get an infotainment screen, you get a phone holder, and you don't get a digital dashboard. But in all the other models, you do. And I have to say, the infotainment screen, although it does crash occasionally and just refuse to turn on, I think I reset it using some buttons on the top of it. It does mostly work well. It's got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. It's big, it's very sharp and glossy and looks very premium. I don't know why you get this little phone holder in Journey models and upwards, because you don't need it really, because you've got a wireless charging mat down there. And a little shelf here, which would be where your manual aircon goes, if you get that entry-level Essential model. In all the others, I'm pretty sure you get automatic aircon, or near enough all of the others. You've got your gear knob down there. You've got, well, digital dashboard, as I said. That's very clear and has a few different modes and things. It's not going to focus. Steering wheel, nice and easy to use. Nice, simple physical buttons for your cruise control, which is on this one. And you've got a button down there to turn off your speed limit warning button. You just have to press that twice. But yeah, it's very hard plasticky, kind of proper Dacia. It's very robust, a bit annoying because the armrests are very uncomfortable when you're driving on the side there. And if you rest your elbow on top of the window, you'll basically cut your arm open. But you've got this padded bit here, which is the only soft part of the car other than the seats. That is the key. It's the usual kind of Renault fare. I don't really like these because I just find them easier to lose than a regular key, and there's nowhere to put a key ring on it that I've found. This Journey model has got denim blue touches inside. Different models have different colour bits and bobs inside to brighten the place up a bit. Door bin there, you can see, can fit a bottle of water. It's big enough, it's great. So actually, lots of storage in this car. It is pretty good going from Dacia to make this a practical family vehicle that just feels plenty grown up enough, and like the steering wheel adjusts in and out, up and down, all that kind of stuff. The glove box is half width, which is a little bit annoying and belies its French roots. Oh, last few whinges. The seats don't have adjustable lumbar support, and if you get an Essential model, you only get 4 speakers, and it only gets upgraded to 6 as you go up the range. And the sound system it's better than it was in the old Duster, but it's still not fantastic. Now, one rugged area of the Duster's interior I do actually appreciate as someone that comes outside in the mud and films cars, is these removable rubber mats which very cunningly capture all the stuff, and they look quite cool as well with these contour lines. Although in picking this up to show you what it looks like, I've accidentally emptied all of my filth into the floor. Not for the first time. Despite all its newfound sexiness, the Dacia Duster is still a big boxy bastard, and that means 6'3" me fits in the back really quite nicely. That's my driving position. I've got headroom for days, foot room, knee room as well. Now, you have got this weird clippy system that Dacia's introduced, where you get a box that can clip onto things to give you a rear cup holder, and there's a torch on this one, and you can take that off and clip it in the boot and other spots around the car. It's kind of okay, I guess. There's a couple of USB-Cs back here. Not much for a central tunnel, so if you don't have this, your middle seat passenger will be okay. Getting child seats in has been a doddle. They're behind zips, the ISOFIX points, but they're big chunky zips. They're not going to break. The door bin's a bit too thin to hold anything useful. You can get a bag of Haribo in there, but that's about your lot. It's okay back here. The door opening is pretty wide as well. And when you close the door, it doesn't feel too claustrophobic. Just very hard plasticky. Yeah. The Dacia Duster's newfound Peng Riz sleigh style continues at the back. I think it looks quite a bit sharper than the old one round the back as well. All models, you get reversing sensors, you get a reversing camera on, I think it's Expression models and upwards, and you can get an all-round 360 camera on top spec Extreme. I always do like when I say Extreme, I don't know why. The boot's quite big. It's 516 litres. Now that drops to about 456 if you get the 4x4 model, and it drops to 430 litres if you get this hybrid. 430 litres is not huge, but if you do get the normal front-wheel drive petrol version, you do get a very big boot. It's nice and wide, it's got a flat floor, it's got an adjustable boot floor as well, so you can drop it right down. I've taken it out, can't get it back in, or you can use that as a divider to stop stuff rattling about, which is very clever. It's got a 12-volt socket there. It's got another one of the clip things for the torches and stuff. It's got a little side pouch here, which is actually quite big for tyre inflation goo. It's actually quite an impressive boot, and in my books, that is more than big enough to swallow your Bugaboo Chameleon 3s or your Joey expensive travel system that you've bought for your baby. So actually, yes, it can be a family SUV. SUV, should we say SUV instead of SUVs? I've just bought a SUV. I've bought a nuclear submarine. I'm not a Dom, I'm a SUV, etc, etc, etc. So there you have it, my thoughts on living with the brand new Dacia Duster for a week and doing about 300 miles in it. If you couldn't tell, I really quite like it. I like the fact it is still quite affordable. I think you're going to spend about 22 grand to get the one with that 1.2 petrol engine, 130 horsepower. I wouldn't personally bother with the hybrid or the four-wheel drive system because I just don't need those things in my life where I live. It looks so much better than before, both inside and out. I like the technology inside on this Journey model with the digital dashboard and the touchscreen and the wireless CarPlay. There's probably a few software bugs there with the infotainment system. It occasionally just doesn't turn on when you unlock the car and start driving. I think it's great. My kids have really enjoyed it, and for once it looks like a proper SUV. It is jacked up, it looks ready, it looks rough, and it can go places. And it's not like some fancy Audi where you're going to be scared about scuffing the interior with your little darlings. So yes, I do like it. Downsides really is very hard plasticky in the cabin still, where you rest your elbows, that's not so good. But other than that, kind of accept that stuff. With a Dacia, it's practical. I like it. I'm going to give it 8 Tim Roadies out of 10. And I'm going to say, thank you very much for watching this video. Sorry it's been slightly low energy. As I said, I'm knackered. And also, like this video, subscribe to the channel, go down to the comments and leave me the Romanian word for, I hope you glued her head back together. Thank you, we did. Everything's okay, she's fine. She's at home eating breakfast in bed like a little princess at 11 AM. Goodbye. Dacia Duster.